You came into her life with good intentions. You cared, you showed up, and you gave her the kind of trust and patience that not everyone deserves. You believed in her, defended her, and tried to see the best in her. Even when her behavior started to hurt, you thought that maybe she just needed understanding, that maybe if you stayed kind, she would eventually meet you halfway. But over time, her confidence turned into control. Every interaction became about her struggles, her opinions, her needs. She took your empathy as weakness and your silence as permission. You found yourself drained, walking on eggshells, questioning your own worth while trying to keep the peace. Eventually, you reached a breaking point. You pulled away, not because you stopped caring, but because staying meant losing yourself. And now that you've stepped back, there's a quiet question that lingers in your mind. Does she realize what she's lost? Does she ever stop and think about the person who cared, who listened, who stayed longer than anyone else would? This video is about that. What happens inside a narcissistic woman when she finally understands she's pushed away someone who truly cared for her, and how that realization changes her even if it comes too late.
When you finally step away, she doesn't chase right away. At first, she pretends she doesn't care. She might look even happier. New photos, new people, maybe even a new relationship. But that's a show. Narcissistic women hate losing control, so instead of admitting they're hurt, they perform confidence. They'll say they're fine, but what they're really doing is protecting their ego. They don't miss you yet. They miss being the center of your attention. They miss being adored. It's not about love. It's about losing the reflection that made them feel important. If you ever wonder why she can move on so fast, it's not healing, it's avoidance. Also, this act is planned. She'll clean up her profile, post smiling photos, and push messages that say, "I'm good." It's meant to make you doubt your choice and to make others think she's fine. Don't confuse the act with actual happiness. Inside, she may be scrambling to keep her image. She uses a public show to hide private fear. That public show is a tool to control how people see her, and mostly to control how you feel. Soon, when the act doesn't work, she starts rewriting the story. You'll hear things like, "You were too emotional. You were too demanding. You just weren't enough." That's because facing her own mistakes feels unbearable. She can't handle guilt or accountability, so she pushes it all onto you, even if, deep down, she knows who really caused the damage. This is where you start to feel anger mixed with sadness, because you know how hard you tried. You know how much you tolerated. Yet, somehow, you're the villain in her version of the story. Don't fall for that. You weren't the problem. You were the mirror she couldn't stand looking into. She'll find small things to exaggerate. She'll pick fights about things that never mattered. Then she'll tell other people a version that makes her the victim. This isolates you. It makes you doubt yourself. That's the point. When you defend yourself, she'll call it attacking. When you ask for change, she'll call it nagging. Keep a clear list in your head of what actually happened. Talk to people who saw both sides. That helps stop the rewriting from becoming truth. After a while, when the excitement of pretending fades, she starts to feel something she can't control: emptiness. No one gives her the same emotional safety you did. No one listens the way you did. She starts comparing every new person to you, but she'll never say that out loud. This is when her mask begins to slip. The silence gets heavy. The nights feel longer. The control she thought she had starts to fade because you're no longer feeding her ego. That's when she realizes she didn't just lose attention. She lost someone who truly cared, and it stinks. At first, she'll blame the new people for not being enough. Then she quietly notices small things: who shows up, who keeps promises, who remembers details. Those are the things you did. She didn't value them until they were gone. When she feels empty, she might get restless, or she might act bored. Either way, cracks show. She might reach out in small ways to test if you still care. If you don't respond, the emptiness grows. That's the first real moment when what she did starts to have consequences. Once that emptiness sets in, she often tries to come back. You might get random messages or see her showing up online again. She may act sweet, understanding, or even apologetic. But understand this. It's not always about missing you. It's about missing the power she had when you cared. Narcissistic women hate being forgotten. She wants to see if she still matters, if she can still make you react. That's why many people fall back into the same trap. She comes back with just enough softness to make you hope she's changed. But most of the time, she hasn't changed. She just realized her backup plan doesn't feel as good as your genuine love did. When she comes back, watch for patterns. Apologies might be vague and fast, not deep. She may say she's different now, but offer no proof. She'll test you with small kindnesses, then pull away again if you respond. If you respond from pain or hope, she gets what she wants: emotional power. If you respond from clear boundaries, she can't use you the same way. That's why your reaction matters more than her words.
If you let her back in, you'll notice the same cycle starts again. She'll be warm, then cold, caring, then cruel. She'll test you to see if you'll still chase, still explain, still fight to be understood. This back and forth isn't love, it's control. It's how she reassures herself that she still has power over you. And when she gets that reassurance, she'll start pulling away again. Because deep down, she doesn't know how to sustain love that feels real. That's the cruel truth about narcissistic behavior. It feeds off your energy, but can't return it. The push-pull wears you down. You begin to live on hope, waiting for the warm times and fearing the cold ones. That anxiety keeps you trying harder. And that's exactly what she wants. Real relationships build trust with steady actions. This one builds drama with tests. If you want peace, the answer is boundaries and distance. If you want the same cycle, give in to the chase. That's the moment where you choose your future.
Here's where it gets complicated. Over time, she may start to realize the depth of what she lost, the consistency, the care, the loyalty. That realization can hit her hard, but regret doesn't always mean change. It often means frustration. She regrets losing comfort, not necessarily losing you. She'll think about how no one treats her the way you did, how no one understands her the same. That might make her angry or even sad, but rarely does it turn into genuine growth. It's not that she can't change, it's that change requires humility, and that's something she's never learned to live with. When regret shows up, it may sound like missing you, but watch the motive. Is she missing what you gave, or missing the easy place you created for her? If it's mostly about comfort, she'll try to get it back the same old way. If it's about real change, she'll accept responsibility and do steady work over time. Most don't do the steady work. They want the result with the old approach. So be careful about thinking regret equals a new person.
When she realizes she can't replace you, she starts to feel small. For someone who's built her identity on being admired, that's terrifying. So she swings between overconfidence and insecurity. One day she'll act like she's over it. The next, she might spiral into self-pity. You might even hear about her trying to better herself or talking about growth. And maybe that's true, but remember, real change doesn't happen until she stops performing for approval and starts being honest with herself. That's a long road, and most never walk it completely. This fight inside her shows in public. She may brag to look strong, then complain to feel seen. She may try new things to prove she changed, but often it's still done for attention. If she truly wants to rebuild, she'll stop depending on applause and start dealing with her faults in private. That takes steady honesty and a lot of hard work. And most people don't choose the hard work. They choose the look of change instead. Watching someone who hurt you seem to wake up can mess with your head. You might start to wonder, maybe she finally gets it now. Maybe I should give her another chance. But think about what it cost you the first time. Your peace, your confidence, your self-worth. The person you loved might show regret, but until she can face her own actions without blaming you, she hasn't truly changed. You deserve more than someone who only realizes your worth when they can't use it anymore. You deserve someone who values it while you're still there.
Healing after a narcissistic woman isn't easy. You'll miss the attention, the highs, the intensity. You'll remember the good moments and question if maybe things weren't that bad. But remember, what you miss isn't love. It's the illusion of love. Real love doesn't drain you. It doesn't make you feel crazy for asking for respect. Healing starts when you stop waiting for her to realize what she lost and start realizing what you deserve. Rebuilding your self-worth takes time. It means learning that peace is more valuable than chaos and stability is worth more than emotional fireworks.